All right, welcome back to another episode of Sean and Ed's Do Baseball.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Ed's.
And we're bringing you baseball history.
That's right, we're bringing you baseball history for another season on our baseball history podcast where the story catcher doesn't know what the story pitcher is out on the mound throwing them. That's
right. I got a lefty on the hill throwing some gas today.
Okay, that's interesting. And we'll get to that in a minute, but we're back, Sean. We're back for another season after, baseball started here again, and it's sort of started again, I guess.
We're into February. There's baseball this month.
Yeah, and we're ready to have our hearts broken again.
No, limping into 2026 as baseball fans. But it should be fun. It should be fun.
Of course it'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be just utterly heartbreaking again, though. But anyways, we do baseball history. We have a sponsor, one of our favorite beverages. We got Two Loons. You can check them out at twoloonsbrewing.com. You can find them on Instagram, and they got a tap room coming soon. So if you're in Ontario, check out their bevies at the LCBO and your local watering hole. And, of course, as always,
please be of legal drinking age and, of course, enjoy responsibly at the tap room, you say.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
That's great news.
Stay tuned, and give them a Google. But, Edsy, I got a good one. I told you right before we started that I changed what I was going to do to tell you this one.
Okay.
And yeah, the name of the person I originally was going to do was much more interesting than this much more common name. But I have to give credit to Frederick C. Bush and Richard Bogovic. Without them and their research, basically only half of this story gets told. And these guys found some stuff, which I'll get to, a couple of years back that basically finalized this story. But this is we got multiple incidents of gunfire. We got FBI. We got double lives. Like this is going to be fun. That's all I can say.
All right. Well, I'm very excited to listen to this story. But before I listen to it, we're getting a little rusty in the preamble, I guess, after being off for a couple months. Make sure you follow us on the internet somewhere at Doing Baseball or at Doing.Baseball. Give us a follow or chime in the conversation. Say hi. Give us a story idea if you got one. And that's all I got to say before I let you get started here. So
yeah, thank you for listening. Give us a review. Give us a rating. But yeah, Edsy, that little preamble I could give you, I'm excited to tell you about David K. Brown.
David K. Brown. I actually have a tractor back at the farm that is a David Brown.
Okay. I didn't expect you to say that.
Yeah.
I was worried you were going to say you knew the story, and I was like, damn it.
No. I don't know anything about the story other than I assume this guy was not a tractor manufacturer, but that would be very interesting if he was.
There's about a 40-year period we don't, at least I don't know much about.
Was he ever in England?
No.
Okay, not the tractor guy.
Well, probably not. Let's just say that.
Okay. We
can't really say much definitively with this guy as well, which is interesting.
Okay.
So David K. Brown, he's born June 9th, 1897 in Marquez, Texas, a small town southeast of Waco. His parents are farm laborers, so, maybe tractor.
There's a chance.
There's a chance. And he was the last of 9 children.
Okay.
So we don't know much about Brown's childhood, but he starts showing up in baseball somewhere around 1917. Brown's pitching arm caught the eye of the Texas Colored League's Dallas Black Giants, and he got his pro start at 19. And we should say as well, we're a little rusty on the preamble again. It is February, so that does mean it's Black History Month. So we are talking about African American baseball player. So
Okay.
he's in Dallas, and he's a teenager when he makes his debut, and he could prove he could pitch. He formed the pitching half of the Brown battery with his catcher and future Negro Leagues catcher, Jim Brown, who is not related. They're just two guys on the team with the last name Brown.
Okay. Common last name.
So the Brown battery. On June 14th, 1917, a freshly 20-year-old Dave Brown earned what may have been his first professional victory, pitching 12 innings in a 4-3 triumph over the Hot Spring Bearcats. Brown was clearly a strong pitcher. He's a lefty, as I think I mentioned, and he can strike guys out, at least for the time. He's got a high K percentage. He threw left-handed, good fastball, strong curveball, and a good changeup. On May 24th, 1918, he struck out 11 batters in a 7-0 victory, just embarrassing an Army team from Camp Travis in Texas. By August that year, his name was well known around Dallas, and he was becoming a big draw for Enos Whitaker and his Black Giants.
All right, so he's off to a great start in his career.
Yeah, and he's young. He's 20. And Dallas becomes the first place where he becomes, a big draw. The Dallas Morning News reported on August 11th, 1918, about the Giants doubleheader against the Fort Worth Wonders. And I quote, "The first game will be called at 3:30. Dave Brown has been nominated to pitch for the Giants, while Big Shakes will do mound duty for the Father City crew."
Okay. What was the opposing pitcher's name? Big Shakes?
Big Shanks. Shanks.
Oh, Big Shanks. Okay.
Big Shanks.
Dangerous.
Yeah. So the Brown battery had caught the attention of a fellow Texan and fellow now former pitcher by the name of Rube Foster, who was manager of the Chicago American Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Foster was able to pry the duo away from Dallas, and up to Chicago they went. The Chicago defender, who was confident in Foster's scouting abilities, reported, and I quote, "Brown and Brown of the Dallas, Texas Giants are here. They were a whirlwind in Texas."
All right. Masterful reporting.
Masterful. So he was, so on the Giants, he's teammates with podcast I love, Sam Crawford. And in 1919, the Giants would go 27-15. Dave Brown would pitch just 4 recorded games and didn't really put up any impressive numbers in 14 third innings pitched. He gave up 17 hits while walking 9 and striking out just 6 for, his whip was 1.8. Like, it wasn't good. Okay. But the next year, Dave Brown has his coming out party. And it's the same year that Rube Foster founds the National Negro League just before the 1920 season. And the Chicago American Giants would become the league's inaugural champs, led by the pitching of the trio of Dave Brown, Tom Williams, and Tom Johnson.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah. So he is on this first year of the official Negro Leagues. He's on this amazing staff. And listen to the ERAs here. Johnson had a perfect record of 11-0 with a 1.84 ERA. Williams went 12-4 with a 1.83 ERA. And our boy Dave Brown outdid them all with a 13-3 record and a league-leading 1.82 ERA.
God, what a formidable staff to have to face those 3 guys.
Yeah, their ERAs are 1/10 apart each.
Mm-hmm. Very impressive.
Yeah, he gives up less hits. He strikes out a bunch of guys. He's got a league. He leads the league in hits batsman, but also has a .9 whip. So it was pretty good.
Yeah.
On May 9th, 1920, against a similarly named crosstown team, the Chicago Giants, there is a lot of Giants.
Yeah,
right?
we've talked about this on the pod before, that, you know,
We have.
somebody's good, and then everybody just wants to be them. So, you know, not a lot of originality in names, a lot of copycat names at this time in history.
Yeah, there is a lot of Giants. Just he plays on let's just say every team he plays is the Giants, and every team he plays for is the Giants. In this case, there's the Chicago Giants, and then there's Brown's Chicago American Giants, and he delivers a shutout. The Chicago Defender reported, "While Dave Brown was on the rubber, the Giants simply could not see his offerings."
All right, I feel like it would be confusing to read the paper.
Why is it confusing?
Well, because just every team is the Giants. You know, you lose the context.
I totally understand that. And that's when I think I put that in there, because I kept reading. I'm like, yes, he struck out the Giants. Wait, he's the Giant. Okay. So after the American Giants win the pennant, and they go barnstorming through the South, they win 13 in a row. They beat the Negro Leagues Southern champion, the Knoxville Giants. Once again, they beat the Knoxville Giants 4 times. They play again on October 2nd, with Brown going up against Steel Arm Dickey.
Steel Arm Dickey.
Yeah, they had a pretty good Brown and Steel Arm had a pretty good pitchers duel going. Brown threw a 3-hit game, with Knoxville scoring just 1 run in the 8th to take the lead. The American Giants stormed back for 2 in the 9th, and Brown went back out to finish the game, securing win number 14. Negro League historian James A. Riley said that, and I quote, "sealed the status as the best black ball club in the country."
All right.
And I quote,
Very
so
nice.
I could also say, they're the best Giants. These are the best Giants.
All right.
You may have guessed that 1920 would have been a pretty big peak for Brown, but of course, you'd be wrong, because he just kept getting better. The American Giants would stay kings of the Negro National League and go 44, 22-2 to win another pennant. Brown went 17-2 with 15 complete games and a league-leading 5 shutouts. On August 14th, Brown faced Bill Drake and the St. Louis Giants. God, at Shoreline Park. In what the Chicago Defender raved as, and I go, one of the best games, if not the best game, played at this park this summer, and a humdinger of a pitcher battle.
A real humdinger.
No, it was a humdinger of a pitcher's battle.
I love it.
No hit was recorded until the 7th, and Brown would take his no-hitter into the 9th with a 1-0 lead. He surrendered 2 hits, but would get all the batters out, with the first hit being erased on a double play and the next runner being eliminated by stealing to end the game. So he faces the minimum.
All right. I mean, that's about as good as you can get without being perfect.
Sure. So he goes, and he's on a roll, and he faces off again on September 11th against Steel Arm Dickey, now of the Negro Southern Leagues, finally, Montgomery Gray Sox.
All right, we got somebody different in here now. All right. I can understand the paper.
Brown once again throws a shutout. And get the win as the Giants walked off with a 1-0 win in the 9th. More importantly, there was gunfire during the game. The defenders,
awesome.
Frank Young, described the incident as follows. And I quote, someone over on Wentworth Avenue shoots a gun out of a house window. 100 fans on top of the house watching the game begin to scatter. A blue coat goes over, and all of a sudden we see the house stop empty. We all see a blue coat take out a white handkerchief and wave to us. Means all is at peace.
Is that what that means?
That's what that means, man.
It's not a flirtatious wave of the handkerchief?
Yeah.
What the hell are you people doing on my roof?
Woo! So, I just had to put that in there.
Of course.
Brown pitched over 180 innings that year. He also led the league in WHIP and K per 9 innings. In 1921, he is credited with 3 victories in an exhibition playoff against the Bacharach Giants, which Foster intended to be a dry run for a planned future East-West World Series. Okay. The American Giants continued their reign, though, in 1922, although they collected 10 less wins than the Monarchs and 13 less wins than the Indianapolis ABCs. They won the pennant due to their winning percentage, basically. So
right. They would do that back then.
Yeah, the leagues were all messed up. they had a lot less games than some of the other people in the league.
Yeah.
Dave Brown was the only starter to return. Remember, they had that sick lineup at one point.
Yeah. They had that trifecta of pitchers, but so Dave's the only one left.
Yeah, and in 28 games, he goes 13-3 with a 2.90 ERA. And once again, he leads the league in hit batsmen as well.
Okay, so he's a little wild, but maybe that works in his favor. Maybe he's got an intimidation factor.
Yeah, he's a little like Bob Gibson-y. 16,000 fans came out to see him. Dueled Bullet Joe Rogan. No, I fucking knew I was going to say that. Bullet Rogan. Not Bullet Joe Rogan.
Not podcaster Joe Rogan.
Bullet Rogan on May 7th. The pitchers gave the fans what they wanted, but Brown was not on his A game. It didn't help that the game kept being held up by fans overflowing onto the field. The Chicago defender unfortunately phrased, and I quote, Brown was not his usual cool form. He walked men and was in many tight holes.
All right. I'm not stepping on that one.
You're not? No?
No.
Okay. Pause for Edsy.
Yeah.
Done. Still, he only gives up 2 runs, but he didn't lose the game because the game didn't finish. The Kansas City took a 2-1 lead to the top of the 8th, but Chicago came back to tie the game in the bottom half of the frame. When the tying run scored, the crowd went fucking nuts, and the overflow section that was just held off by ropes broke loose onto the field, and they couldn't get them back. So,
and the police put their white handkerchiefs back in their pockets.
This is not not peaceful.
Yeah.
So when this happened, so the crowd is on the field, and eventually they're like, we just have to call this a tie. And then the crowd that's in the grandstands, actually in the seats, they get mad, and they start throwing bottles and shit at the people on the field. So then this riot essentially breaks out, and the police, have to bring the melee under control.
Right.
But the game's a tie.
The game's called.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The Chicago defender stated, in all of Chicago's baseball history, it cannot be recalled that such actions have ever taken place at any park.
Well, I mean, it's early in baseball history.
It's only been 30, 40 years in Chicago, maybe.
Yeah. This array of this would come back.
Worse things have happened since.
Yeah.
Brown was involved in one of the longest games in Negro League history on August 16th when Pop Lloyd's Bacharach squad faced the American Giants. Brown came in relief to start the 5th, and he didn't know that he would throw 16 more innings after the 5th.
Jesus Christ, 21 innings?
Yeah.
God damn.
Harold Treadwell threw all 20 innings for his side. Both men and teams refused to give up until the 20th inning. Oh, sorry, I should say 20 innings, not 21. When Dave Malarcher singles finally ended the game, which was an absolute marathon. That offseason, Brown goes down. He plays for Santa Clara in the Cuban League. When he returns, he decides to switch up his uniform. He's like, I'm going to go to different Giants. So he jumps his contract.
I'm not changing that much. I'm still sticking with the Giants team. I need somewhat familiarity, you know.
I'll only side with the one of the 40 other Giants out there.
Here's my no trade list. This all says Giants, sir.
So he jumps his contract. He goes to the New York of the Eastern Colored League, much to the chagrin of Rube Foster. Rube Foster is pissed when Dave Brown leaves because Dave Brown's one of the best pitchers in the league consistently. And he's a left-hander. He's still like 24 or something like that at this age. And Foster slams Brown, and this is from Robert Charles Cottrell's Rube Foster biography, and I quote, Foster slammed Brown in what was becoming an increasingly characteristic fashion. He viciously referred to Brown's earlier legal troubles. Brown had been convicted of robbery, but was paroled to Foster, who had promised the pitcher's mother that he would post a $20,000 bond and take care of him. If he now attempted to revoke the bond, Foster complained, the public would think ill of him.
I mean, I kind of get why he's pissed.
But here's the thing, Edsy. We don't know if it's true, which is interesting to say the least, because Rube Foster is all of a sudden claiming that Dave Brown was convicted of robbery. Mm-hmm. And Frederick C. Bush, one of the guys I cited at the beginning, who wrote Brown's Sabre bio, thinks he might have it might have been Foster slandering him possibly because he was pissed that he was leaving, not because, anyways, I'll quote from the Sabre bio. Okay. And I quote, Foster's claim about Brown seems dubious for numerous reasons. First and foremost is the question of whether Foster could finagle such a parole and whether he would have paid a large sum for the bond. Second, the lack of any press coverage during or after the alleged crime is unusual, especially since Brown had become well known for his pitching in the Dallas area. It is noteworthy that due to the way Foster's statement was worded, it could be interpreted to mean that he was asserting that Brown ran afoul of the law after joining the American Giants. However, no record exists of Brown having been arrested, let alone tried and imprisoned, in Illinois or any of the closely neighboring states of Indiana and Michigan. Thus, there is no evidence to corroborate Foster's claims about Brown's alleged crime.
Okay, so you've convinced me he's innocent.
Well, maybe, but this also comes back a little bit later. This is... Well, you just made it. Oh, that was a great statement to make. We'll see if you're back at that at the end.
Okay.
We'll see if you're back there at the end.
Okay.
So maybe Foster was upset, and regardless whether Brown was a convicted criminal or not, Brown switched up his Giants team for 1923. His first year in New York with the Lincoln Giants was not a success. They finished fifth out of 6 teams. Brown seemed to have a down year. He goes 5-6 with a 3.28 ERA in just 74 innings, which was was fine. The team probably wasn't that bad. I spent a lot of time looking at this team. His teammate Bill Holland went 0-7 in 11 appearances, but still had a 3.13 ERA. Like, you have to be very unlucky to start 11 games. or pitch in 11 games and get an 0-7 record with that good of an ERA.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, as I say, anyways, so the team finished second in batting average, slugging percentage, and on-base percentage, but somehow finished second last in runs as well. Like the whole team. Like, how are you that good at hitting but not good at scoring runs? Anyways, this team baffled me.
Yeah, that makes no sense. No clutch to this team.
No clutch.
By the sounds of things.
There were no clutch on the 1923 Lincoln Giants.
Yeah.
So Brown himself chipped in on the offensive side of things, which is weird because he was hitting 126 in nearly 200 plate appearances over the last 3 seasons in the Negro National League. But once he joined the Eastern Colored League, he found his stroke. Or the pitching was just much worse. But either way, he hits 407 in
Jesus
1923.
Christ.
Yeah. In just 27 at-bats, but he also hits his first home run and a double. He does it all. He goes off to Cuba that offseason. He plays for Santa Clara. Again, this team was dominant, and Brown would make his mark. He would go 6-3 alongside a 2.06 ERA. According to Cuban baseball historian Jorge S. Figueroa,
Do you want to try a fourth different name?
Yes, Jorge S. Figueredo. They were considered, and I'm sorry, I should quote, they were considered as the most dominant team ever in the history of Cuban baseball by amassing an 11.5 game bulge over their nearest rival.
All right, that's pretty good.
Yeah. At age 27 in 1924, Brown puts up one of his best seasons ever with a tidy 2.00 ERA in just under 180 innings on the bump. He made 27 appearances, with 18 of them being starts. In those 18 starts, he threw 16 complete games. Despite his 13-8 record, he was worth 5.9 Baseball Reference WAR, a career high. The Lincoln Giants did much better, but still finished third in the Eastern Colored League with a record of 35-28-1. And Brown goes back to Cuba. We're getting to the climax here. And he comes back from Cuba. In Cuba, he pitches again for Santa Clara. Had a forgettable season, with the attendance being so poor that in early January, the owner of the team moved the city to another franchise.
Move the franchise to another city?
Yeah.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah. This is basically where things start. 1925 is not a good year. He returns to the Lincoln Giants in the spring. He pitches the first game of an opening day doubleheader on April 26, 1925. He pitched a memorable one as he threw a complete game, allowing just 1 run and scattering 7 hits. He may not have deserved the outcome he got because he did walk 7 along with striking out 8.
All right. Never be allowed today. You'd never get 7 walks without a hook.
Yeah. 7 hits, 7 walks, and just 1 run scored. I mean, that also means if he had 8 strikeouts and 7 walks, he threw a lot of pitches that game.
Yes.
He threw. I mean, yeah. I think I was doing the math on it, and it is something like if each of those at bats are like 4 pitches each, you're looking at 60 pitches just on 8 outs.
Yeah.
It's crazy. This would be Dave Brown's last game.
All right. That's pretty abrupt.
That was abrupt.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to drop that on you. And I bet you have no idea what's about to happen next. You're probably like...
Honestly, I don't. You just... I don't know. Anyway, carry on.
They celebrate.
Okay.
They celebrate their win.
Uh-huh.
Two of his teammates, Oliver Marcel, who was a former Texas teammate of Brown's, and Frank Wickware, who had played for the American Giants back in Chicago, decided they're going to go out celebrating. And by celebrating, I guess these gentlemen were really tying it on, because this is the next night after. So the partying goes on for 2 nights by the sounds of things. Mm-hmm. It's unclear if they were with him or not, but regardless, on their way home, a man named Benjamin Adair was shot.
Oh God.
He was taken to Harlem Hospital, where he was declared dead. And the New York Evening Journal reported that Adair, and I quote, was with several women and 3 men when the shooting occurred. And as the party passed number 69, a man with a revolver ran out in the street shooting, "Now I've got you," when Adair fell to the pavement and his companions fled.
All right. What a scene. I feel like you're setting up that he's maybe not that innocent anymore.
Well, this is I'm going to keep walking you through the timeline here.
Yeah. Law and Order me up.
Dun dun. Reports of the incident, differing accounts, including with Adair's location, the number of shooters, the number of shots fired, and whether or not an argument had broken out immediately or prior to the shooting. But one thing was for sure. In the days after the incident, Marcel, Wickware, and Brown were missing.
All right. Hiding out, perhaps?
Perhaps.
Climaxing in a tight hole?
Jesus. Yes, they're in a tight hole. Thank you for the callback.
Yeah.
The next day, the Giants cancel practice because they're like, our 3 best players are missing after a shooting. On May 2nd, the Brooklyn New York Age became the first newspaper to report that the ball players may have been involved in said shooting. The Baltimore Afro-American ran an article on May 16th. Remember, that's like 2 weeks later, more than 2 weeks later, stating that, and I quote, "Police of Atlantic City have been unable to locate their whereabouts. Of the 3 ball players, the Afro-American reported its own account of the shooting in the same article. According to witnesses, the 3 ball players and Adair were passing in front of 135th Street address when a man ran out of the building and shouted, 'I've got you,' and fired point blank at Adair, who dropped mortally wounded." And that, so we've got 2 accounts so far where it sounds like they were either they were friends with Adair, walking with him, or they were just happened to be there when it happened. But they did run away with fear, possibly, of whoever just killed Adair. Or, so are they hiding out because they don't want to talk to the police, or are they hiding out? Maybe there's somebody they know is after Adair, and maybe after them too. So they're like, we gotta stay safe. Mm-hmm. So W. Rollo Wilson wrote in his May 9th, 1925 Pittsburgh Courier column, "Whatever the outcome of this matter, these men must leave the game. The integrity of the pastime demands it." So,
I mean,
people are starting.
So,
yeah.
So they're just no true evidence. Get these guys out of here.
That's the sentiment some people have.
Okay.
And remember, this goes into May, and later in May, Marcel and Wickware resurface.
Okay.
They're promptly, arraigned by the police, but they're cleared of any wrongdoing, and they go back to playing baseball.
All right. So it blows over for them.
Yeah. And Dave Brown
still missing.
Never, ever comes back.
Like to life? I know he's not. I know he's not dead, but he never comes back to. We don't know where he is. We don't know whatever happened to him.
Well, the police are looking for him.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know what his teammates told them of what happened, but on July 23rd, a wanted poster was released with that labeled Brown as Benjamin Adair's killer and a fugitive. This is the only known wanted, like a fugitive poster where the alleged perpetrator is in full baseball uniform.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I told you. I told you this is the season opener.
Yeah.
So, the question is, Etsy, is did Dave Brown kill William Adair?
Well, I mean, based on the evidence that you've presented, I have no idea. And it's, in today's day and age, I don't think it's really fair to allege that, but
Well,
I guess it's very convenient for the authorities that are looking to place blame on this tragedy.
100%. And for the longest time, that's the history. That's the narrative with the history. There are many versions of the story, as I noted, but for a long time the narrative was been that he killed him and then he fled and he disappeared forever.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's very possible too.
Well, Baseball Reference Bullpen, still to this day, it says, and I quote, "He then ended his career by killing a man in a barroom fight and fleeing law enforcement afterwards."
Okay. Well, it's on Baseball Reference, so.
Well, the Negro Leagues Museum website states, and I quote, "After killing a man in a barroom fight that year, apparently in an argument involving cocaine, he dropped out of sight to avoid arrest on a murder charge."
All right. I was not aware that cocaine was such a big thing at that time, but I guess it was in the soft drink.
Yeah. But there's that New York Evening Journal report, where somebody runs out and shoots him. So if you're with him, are you the one running out to shoot him? But then there's even more different reports. The New York Amsterdam News reported at the time was completely different, saying, and I quote, "4 men were quarreling on the sidewalk. Then one of them drew an automatic and fired one shot at him. As he crumpled to the sidewalk, the 4 men jumped into a passing cab and drove away." So that sounds like one of the guys with him killed him.
Yeah.
Which is the first time, we're one of the very few accounts where we have of it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. I have no idea.
I have a theory.
Okay.
Perhaps he fled to England.
This is a good point.
And began developing farm implements.
That's true. He will have to get back.
I figure he would change his name, but so it's a stretch, but it's possible.
Well, you're getting on to something here. I do want to just say there is one other kind of point of view as well as to whether he was a murderer or just a witness. And that's that maybe he was fucking scared of the cops.
I mean, that's probably very likely.
Well, Frederick C. Bush, one of the main researchers that discovered a lot about Brown's life, he put it in perspective and in his Sabre bio, and I quote, "Perhaps Brown saw himself as a potential scapegoat since he was the only identified witness or suspect left. He may have also called to mind the shooting of his brother Webster in Dallas and had distrust for the police who would have handled how he would have been handled if he had turned himself in. There remains a possibility that Adair was involved in criminal activity, perhaps indeed involving drugs, and Brown was afraid to suffer consequences of guilt by association." So whatever the reason,
Well, history prior and post to this event, lends itself to the fact that that's possibly very true
yeah,
and
but
understandable.
it also calls into the question, in my mind too, which I don't have the answer for, is with Rube Foster accusing him of that stuff. Maybe it was true, and maybe he's like, "Oh shit, like I'm out on bond. Like
Yeah.
they're gonna hit me up, like because I'm the criminal of the three. You know what I mean?"
Right.
So anyways. So the FBI is literally searching for Dave Brown. And Dave Brown's gone. The left-handed pitching phenom is officially never seen from again. But in the summer of 1926, a pitcher named Lefty Wilson showed up out of nowhere.
Oh, God. Left-handed.
He plays for Gilkerson's Union Giants.
Of course.
And he looks a lot like Dave Brown, especially on the mound.
Okay.
So Wilson dominates the Spencer team, and this is in Iowa. Remember, the alleged crime took place in New York. So a year later, Lefty Wilson just shows up in Iowa, and he just starts fucking striking guys out. He dominates the Iowa semi-pro champion on July 10th, strikes out 17 batters by only allowing one hit. So,
all right. The evidence is stacking up.
He didn't stay in one spot long. As soon as after he was done pitching, he pitched for the Pipestone, Minnesota Black Sox as well. The Sioux City Journal reported on July 31st, 1926, about a 7-2 victory that, and I quote, "a well-known Negro pitcher twirled for the visitors and held the home club under control at all times." So Wilson continues his tour of the Midwest. He plays for Wanda, Minnesota. He helps the team win a Tri-County League championship. The next year, he plays for a team in Bertha, Minnesota, replacing show alum John Donaldson on the mound.
I was wondering if you were going to get to Donaldson.
Yeah, and Donaldson would know who Dave Brown was, right?
Yeah.
Like, they played against each other.
Like, listen, John, I've assumed another name. I need somewhere to pitch.
Exactly. And so Donaldson returns the next year with his new team, and he faces off against this Lefty Wilson character. There's no doubt at this point that as we are alluding to, that Dave Brown is William Lefty Wilson, and everyone knows it, but the FBI.
All right. Is that like a confirmed fact?
I mean, if we're trusting these two researchers, which I'm going to, then there is a very, very, I'm gonna say a very strong chance. Okay. So actually, Willie Wells confirms it. What am I talking about? I'll get to it. Yeah, it's him.
Okay.
These clubs, they go barnstorming as well. With other Negro Leaguers that would definitely have recognized him. Somehow everyone kept their mouth shut, though. But I guess just good camaraderie,
Well, they want to win games.
I'm sure they do.
You
Hall of Fame shortstop Willie Wells later admitted that he knew of Wilson's true identity. He said it was known that the team would have a go bag ready in the event that the police caught on. And it was God. He returns to Iowa in 1929. He joins a team sponsored by the Auto Carry All Manufacturing Company called the All Carry 9. The Carry All 9. Anyway, I don't know why I found that interesting. At this point, he's just kind of blatant That's the illusion. Like it might as well be a new country, right? It's 1929. He's just like, well, my name's different, and I moved a few states over. And
Yeah. Police work's not what it is today.
no, you could literally abandon your life and just like, well, if I go far enough away, no one will recognize me. And in this case, he's a famous baseball player.
Yeah.
So it gets a little bit blatant, the illusion at least that he's trying to portray. The Sioux City Journal on April 14th, 1929 reported, I quote, Lefty Wilson, regarded as the greatest Negro southpaw hurler in the game and formerly a member of the Chicago Negro League, or Negro National League, has been signed as a manager and has secured a lineup of players from Scott's Giants, Gilkerson Union Giants, and other Negro League clubs.
I only want Giants players.
Yes. So the funny thing about that, and the telling thing for your detectives out there, is they refer to him as a former member of the Chicago Negro Leagues. There is no William Lefty Wilson that ever played for Chicago in that era. So it's Dave.
Yeah. Okay.
After that season, he joined John Donaldson's barnstorming team, the Cubans. On August 29th, Brown got into a scrap in a game against the House of David team. The Saskatoon Star Phoenix reported, and I quote, Lefty Wilson, a colored pitcher who had reached second base, started a chewing match that ended in real fisticuffs that took several of the players to separate. So
this is against the House of David?
Yeah.
Like the Christian team?
Yeah. I don't know their deal, but it is interesting, possibly an episode. But either way, he gets to second base.
Pretty sure they're like a church / I don't want to say too much in case I'm incorrect on this, but I'm pretty sure they're like a church / almost cultish team.
Oh yeah. They got some sick beards.
They do.
So yeah, he gets to second base and he starts fighting with the shortstop. So he's fierce. He's once again not afraid of getting caught, being in the spotlight, even though he's on the run. And despite that, he actually plays for the colored House of David team, which was well known as one of the premier black teams in America at the time. Around this time, rumors spread that Brown had died in Denver, Colorado under mysterious circumstances. But once again, I don't believe that to be true, as Lefty Wilson's career continued, as we mentioned, with the House of David team, and the next year in 1932, it was reported that he played for the Finis Colored Giants of Grand Rapids. So he squeezes in one last Giants.
I don't know why. I hate how many Giants teams he's played for. Like, goddamn.
So, Lefty Wilson, just like Dave Brown, just disappears. But Dave Brown would reappear, but he's not stupid enough to still be Dave Brown. So,
he's Brown Dave.
What?
He's Brown Dave.
Brown Dave. I'm Brown Dave. Are you a lefty? No, I'm still with my right arm.
Yeah.
On July 15th, 1938, Dave Brown was taken into custody by a Greensboro police after being identified as a suspect in an assault where a man is said to be pushed from a porch of a residence and knocked unconscious. The detective recalled the 13-year-old poster of the man wearing a baseball suit and asked if the man had played baseball. The dude's like, well, yeah, I'm not like a pro, and this is the kind of police work we have at the time. Like, you ever thrown a ball? Like, yeah, we got him.
All right.
So the detectives reach out to New York. And they're like, we got your guy, right? We got this Dave Brown guy that killed everybody. And it didn't matter to them that the Dave Brown they had was 30 And our real Dave Brown would have been 41 at the time. But things just kind of worked out. Once again, very odd for the era. But I'll quote from the July 31st, 1938 Rally News and Observer, and I quote, "Today a telegram came from the New York police saying that all witnesses had disappeared in the intervening 13 years and that since Brown could not be convicted, the charges would be dropped. When the Greensboro police turned to the local offense, they found that Wells had left Greensboro. There was nothing to do with Brown except turn him loose." So all murder charges are dropped.
I was going to say, so they can't pin it on him.
But he's not the real Dave Brown either.
Oh, okay.
So the real Dave Brown is still hiding, and he has no idea that the murder, like, he could just be Dave Brown again.
Yeah, okay. No, well, that's true.
So,
unless he's reading every paper in the country.
Well, yeah. It turns out our real Dave Brown was living in California with some of his brother and sister, near at least some of his brothers and sisters from Texas, under the alias Alfred Basil Brown. He married his wife Faye, and they eventually adopted 2 children whose parents were murdered.
Oh, God. What a twist of fate.
It's either very strong irony or just he's a great person. In his World War II draft card, which he provided his name as, once again, Alfred Basil Brown, he stated his birth date was June 9th, 1901, and that he'd been born in Chicago, using his real day and month of birth, but making himself a few years younger, because, you know, who wouldn't? You just get to make it up. You just get to be. You could be like, nah, I'm 32.
Yeah.
Done.
Okay. I guess.
So he just lives out the rest of his days. He keeps most of the pitching stuff quiet. And
he didn't go to the war?
He didn't go to the war, but I think that's just the publicly available
information.
Of him giving his birth date, which is conspicuous with the same June 9th, even though it's 3 years younger.
Yeah.
But once again, who wouldn't?
Right.
So, if not for that night in April 1925, Brown might have been a Hall of Fame pitcher. His career 153 ERA plus ranks second only to Satchel Paige in Negro League history.
That's pretty good.
In 5 years, plus that one game, in what we consider the Major League, Brown put up 22.2 baseball reference WAR and a 2.39 ERA, which would have probably put him on the path to the Hall of Fame if fate didn't have other plans. He won 2 ERA titles and posted a 62-22 record in 115 games. Dave Brown died on May 24th, 1985 in Los Angeles at the actual real age of 88, just over 60 years since the last game he pitched in Major League Baseball. His cause of death was listed as cardiac arrest, yada yada. He was buried in Angeles Rosedale Cemetery in LA. And that's the story of one of the best pitchers that got accused of murder and disappeared.
Well, that's thanks for telling that story, Sean. That's the story that's definitely right in our wheelhouse. I'm amazed. I've never heard of this guy based on just his statistics alone and his body of work. But I guess, things like that, like potentially, allegedly murderous fugitives kind of get swept under the rug in baseball history. So,
especially with like a lot of main sources being like, yeah, he killed someone in a bar.
Yeah.
So I will say interesting to say the least. I was surprised. I had written him, scribbled him down at some point, and when I looked into it, I was like, oh yeah, wow, okay. But I do say that I gotta say once again, Frederick C. Bush and Richard Bogovic, they tracked down two of Brown's grandchildren and were able to look at artifacts and stuff like that to like be like, oh, Alfred Brown was definitely Dave Brown. So like, credit goes to them.
I was gonna say thank you for doing that legwork.
Well, and they also kind of changed the narrative as well as to like, you know, this is either, you know, a great pitcher that like did something stupid and ruined his career, or it's a story of an innocent witness that like couldn't trust the police and therefore is not in the Hall of Fame today. So I don't know which one of those stories is true. Once again, you're like, we'll find out if he's innocent at the end. I was like, you have no idea.
This one remains a mystery, and we'll probably never know.
Never know. Well, either way, he can pitch.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until next time, Edsy, where can people find us on the internet?
Well, people can find us telling more stories like this across the internet, some platform, at Doing Baseball or at Doing.Baseball. Give us a rating, review. Thanks for listening, and we're going to be continuing our February Black History Month theme in a couple weeks. I got a story for Sean, and until then...
Yeah, thanks for listening. I'm Sean.
And I'm Eds.
And we were doing baseball.
Okay, bye.